Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Bookmas and the Literature with Lydia podcast. My name is Lydia, and today I am joined by Taryn and Christine. Welcome.
I am so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm so excited to have you back, and I'm excited for the topic of today's episode, which I'll get into in a moment. But first, I have a couple little introductory questions. And since I've had you on before, I have some Christmas themed questions for you. So, first, just in general, what's the book that comes to your mind when you think of your favorite book you've read this year? I know, it puts a lot of pressure.
No, I just had such a good reading year that I'm like, oh my gosh. But since I'm talking to you, and I actually have a friend who's reading this book right now, this is the one that immediately comes to the top of the head, is A Man Called Uwe by Frederick Brockman. Love that book so much. And you recommended it to me, so I've just loved it. Loved it.
I'm so happy that you loved it. It was so fun to hear like your updates as you were reading it. And nothing is better than when somebody who you recommend a book to also ends up loving it. So
Yes.
I'm so glad. So good. Have you read anything else by him?
I bought Beartown, I think. I bought Beartown and I just need to sit down and read it, but I that one's next.
Yeah. Ugh, that series is so good too. And it's perfect for like this time of year. So,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Okay, then maybe I need to crack it open literally today.
Okay, my next question is, what is your best like winter Christmas book recommendation?
Oh, I don't know. I'm really bad when it comes to um like holiday books. I don't know
Hmm.
why. I try to get into them and I just really struggle. So I usually this time of the year I'm like really in the fantasy,
Ooh.
darker fantasy kind of situation. I just read what was it? Night in the Moth by Rachel Gillig. And it just the atmosphere of it being snowy outside and a little dark and I loved it. It was such a fun experience for me. So I think that would be the one I would recommend right now.
Yeah, no, that's kind of perfect though. I've been asking people like their favorite Christmas read, and like I just know that not everybody likes like seasonal reads like that. And I feel like they can be kind of cheesy or like dive way too much into like the season. So I think that's perfect.
It's funny because I'm usually like a Hallmark girly through and through. So you'd think I'd be into the like romance holiday books, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Just dark and scary.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Variety.
Yes.
Okay, and then my last introduction question is, what is your favorite like Christmas song?
Hmm. Oh, the one I'll like repeat over and over again is Mary Did You Know by Pentatonics. Like, it is so good, just the vocal range and everything. And that song just gets me in the feelers. So, love
Hmm.
that one.
I love the Pentatonics so much,
Yes.
and specifically Christmas.
Yes.
Naturally, I feel like, ah, so good. What a good
The
pick.
best.
Okay, well, today's episode is themed around like the new year and goal setting because 'tis the season to make resolutions and kind of think about like what goals you have for yourself for the next year. And I knew I wanted to have you on here because this year you published two books, which is insane. And so I just kind of wanted to hear your own insight because that's like a really big feat. So first, just start off by telling us about your two books, and then we'll kind of go into the rest of the conversation after that.
Okay. So I actually brought them as props.
Yay! Good.
But these are my two books. Um, so they are two interconnected standalones in a little series I've named the Dearly Written series. And it's an upper YA college romance series Very emotional, lots of found family. First book is based off of a very real journal in my life, so it's got a lot of heart and feelers in it. But first one is a girl who is trying to recover from a traumatic past by writing in a journal dedicated to the man she'll one day marry, and the boy who finds the journal and falls for her through her words. And then book two is her best friend, and she's trying to get over a very rigid, strict upbringing by completing a bucket list and makes an unlikely deal with the boy who drove her crazy in high school to complete that bucket list while also helping him get the girl he's been in love with. So it's just a fun, very emotional, very fun little romance series.
I love it so much. I read the first one, loved it. I still haven't read the second one, and I'm so excited. But like that just means I have something to look forward to, and I can't wait.
Yes. Yes. I love
And
you.
then
You've
to
been so
have
supportive.
and then to have both of them like side by side because the covers are so stunning together.
Fun. Every time I look at them together, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love them.
Yes, they're beautiful. Okay, well,
Thank
thank
you.
you for sharing about that. Can you tell us what the process was or what it looked like for writing and publishing? Because I know last time I had you on the podcast, you hadn't even published the first one yet, and you were kind of looking into different means of doing so. So, can you summarize a little bit for us what that looked like?
So it's a very complicated publishing path. I'm going to try and like condense. um, but so how it started was Dear Future Husband, the first book. I had just written it in 2023. Very fun, just kind of getting my creative energy out. I've always wanted to write a book. So I just threw it together and then I self published it for friends and family because it was the first draft, mind you. It was not edited. Um, and so just wanted to share it. But it got way more traction than I anticipated. A lot of people I didn't know were reading it and they loved it, but there was no editing, and that was super frustrating, which made sense. I then learned about traditional publishing and how you get an agent and then you find an editor, and editing is for free. So I was like, I'll try that. So I queried my first book and I ended up getting an agent within 3 weeks of querying. And we worked on the book, we edited it up, I took it down. That version that originally was published is no longer available, thank the Lord. But we worked on it and got it up on submission to editors, which is just like sending it. It's the same thing as the query process where you're trying to get an agent, sending out a little pitch of your book to editors at publishing companies. Um, we did that about end of 2024. And then you bringing up the interview that I had with you, it actually just reminded me that I had stayed with that agent and on submission for about 5 to 6 months. And then it just wasn't lining out. We didn't have the same communication. Like it just we weren't working well together. And I didn't feel like it would lead to success in the long run. And I really wanted to build a career. So I ended up breaking the contract with that agent and pulling my book off submission. And I had just done that right before, like probably 2 days before you and I had that first interview. So I was like, I can't really talk about it, so I don't really know what's going on. So it's kind of funny, like seeing where we're at now. But I fully anticipated just letting this book die off because when you have a book that goes out on submission, agents aren't likely to pick it up again because it's been shopped, it's been seen. So I was just going to let it die off. But I talked to some author friends and looked into self publishing again to do it the right way this time. And I decided, you know what, I'll just test the waters. I'll have some beta readers read it and give me some feedback on what they think. And I had a couple of readers that came back and they were like, if you don't publish this book, I will lose my mind. And so that like was like, you know what, even if I just publish it for them, that's fine. I'll do that. And I ended up having an author friend who worked with me on editing it, and we got it all ready to go within a month of me deciding that I would self-publish it. and I self-published it July 22nd. So that was a very complicated process. The second book was very much more simple. I had written it while I was out on submission, not expecting it to ever get picked up because you never know with traditional publishing. It just was, I was just writing it for me, and I knew the story like from beginning to end. So once I self-published the first book, I was like, oh yeah, this one is definitely it's gonna see the light of day. Yes. And it was a very smooth process to just get it published. But it's been out almost a month now. So it's exciting.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I feel like I'm sure there are a lot of indie authors who probably resonate with this story, but also for people who've like thought to themselves similarly, like, oh, I want to write, but like I don't really, it's just for my family or just for my
Mm-hmm.
friends. Like you really can turn it into something even bigger. And so I love like that story of your dedication where like you did it one way and like maybe it didn't work that way. So you tried a different one and like that one didn't work, but like you kept persevering. And I like, I don't know, I love that because our dreams can be tricky and like they don't always work out the first way. And so I really appreciate your dedication.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So then, along with that, what would your recommendations be for someone who is looking into self-publishing?
So this one is such a big, big one. I was like, there's so many things I was recommend.
Yeah.
If I could go back and tell little me before I got into this. But I think the first couple things that came to mind were just be ready um, for taking on a lot of roles. I think for me, I think I would love to get back into the traditional path because I love the collaboration of so many different creative minds. So that was a little hard for me getting into self-publishing because you are marketing, you are cover artist if you need to be, you are the editor, you're everything. And so it's a very like you have to be ready to just work on your own. And I think a lot of people are so skilled at that and so meant for that path. But I do think a lot of people aren't really anticipating that much when they do get into it. And so that I mean I wasn't. So I think that's my biggest thing is like be prepared to be a one-man band. Um, but also networking is a big one because yes, you are one man band when it comes to your creation, but networking is so big, especially starting early. I know a lot of people have a hard time sharing or talking about their writing process. I know it's getting better, like bigger and better. But I would say like start making friends, start making connections. I know even just personally with me working with you, you've been such a support for me and such a connection I've cherished. So, and there's so many I've made over the year that I think helps a lot to not feel as lonely when you are building up this project. So,
Yeah, I
those are
love
my things.
um and I think too, like you're saying, like even just starting it from the beginning, and that can be like tricky or scary because again, if it's not complete, it can be like, well, but why would I start talking about it yet?
Yeah.
But I feel like that is where you're going to grow that community the best.
Yeah, you'll find the longest standing supporters who just want to see it beginning to end. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What did this whole process teach you about following your dreams or like goal setting?
So, when you sent me these questions, it was actually like, it's been something I've been thinking about a lot because as I've come to the end of the year, it's looking so much different than what I anticipated my year was going to look like
Mhm.
from where I started. And that felt like failure to me a lot. I've been really struggling with that where I'm like, I was supposed to have a deal. I was supposed to be working towards this career path. Like it was supposed to look so different. So when you asked me that question, I was like, well, now I really got to figure, like, I really got to think about this because it really wasn't failure. And I was able to kind of break down the fact that, you know what, yeah, it didn't end up the way I anticipated, but it taught me a lot about finding achievement in the fact that I continued. when a lot of people probably would have shelved the book, and that's okay. Like I know a lot of people's path does lead to that, and that's okay as they but what's important is that they kept going. And I think for me to keep going, I needed to publish those books and start moving towards, other projects. But that was a big one, was just kind of realizing like it when it comes to goal setting and stuff, you can set goals and you can set an expectation for the year, but in the end, what it comes down to is like your dedication to keep going after what you want to, and like celebrating the victories even when they aren't victories over what you wanted to have victory over. So
Yeah.
that was a very insightful question, and I want to thank you for asking me because it really made me think about it, and I definitely have a better perspective of the year than what I had before.
Oh, good. I'm so happy. And I feel like, again, like, I feel like that's how I've seen it the whole time. And I'm sure
Mhm.
it's different when you're experiencing it yourself. But to me, I'm like, she's not giving up. Like, that's so cool because it's so easy to want to when it's not like panning out the way that you see it. And I'm
Mhm.
sure, again, when you're the one going through those changes, it's like, ugh, like, well, that didn't work. And then this didn't work. And that can get so frustrating. But like, from the outside perspective, it's like, oh my goodness, like she is just pushing forward. And that's so cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I needed to hear that.
Okay, then my final question is, what are things or like what is your support system like that helped you with achieving these accomplishments?
So this goes back to my encouraging of networking very early on, because the like networking connection system I've built up of authors, readers, agents, like so many different people in the industry, it has been so valuable. And when I look back on the year and think of like my achievements, I think that's my biggest one, is the connections I've made over this year. I've had so many people when I split up from my agent, I had so many authors coming out of the woodworks being like, you know what, when you're ready to query, go to my agent, here's a referral. Like they were just all supportive, and just even from like all over the world. I had authors in the UK that were like, what can I do, who can I get you connected to? Like it was really cool to see that. And I think it's been my biggest help this whole time. And just being like, you know what, I've this is not the best feeling in the world because I didn't get to accomplish what I wanted to, but seeing so many people like support and love and fall in love with the book, um, mainly because they love me and they gave me a chance, has just been one of the main reasons I have kept going. Because I'm like, so many people believe, and that gives me reason enough to keep going. So I just, yeah, right back to that networking. And let me know if I did answer your question correctly. I feel like I did.
Yeah, you did.
I think I got a little lost.
No,
But
that was
yes.
perfect. And I think that that is like insightful again, like thinking back to like if you're getting started, start with the community now, because that will help as you're going through the process and as you experience changes or if things don't pan out the way that you want them to, like that support is what will help keep you going for sure.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You summed it up perfectly.
Well, do you have any plans for next year that you can share with us or any things that you're looking forward to?
I have a couple things up in the air just because I am working with a little surprise bun in the oven. So just trying to figure out how everything's gonna situate around that. Really excited, but just figuring out how life pans out over that. I am working on something new that I would love to take back into the query trenches. I do have another book that I've been considering either shelving or releasing again, but yeah, so it's just really up in the air, but expect more. Things will happen.
Well, good. And thank you for being on the podcast again. I think this is, again, such a great way to like end the year, but also look forward to next year. And hopefully it will be very insightful for listeners. So thank you.
Thank you, Lydia. I'm like so impressed by you, and especially like having worked with you and like the podcast and connecting with you. I've just been seeing like you've had so many changes over this last year and you've kept with this podcast, and I've been able to see you have on some of the coolest authors and create some magic with your own content and podcasting. It has been so fun. I hope you know how much I admire you, and you're killing it, and it's truly an honor to be your friend but also be invited on your podcast. It's just, I love you. I'm obsessed with you.
You're so sweet. I love you too. And I'm so glad we could do this again. This will not be the last time that you're on the podcast. Don't you worry about that. Don't fret.
Good.
But thank you everyone for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next episode of